Hi there, Chris Ryan. I'm here today to talk a few minutes about the snare drum that I have here, these snare drums that I make and sell. So these are refurbished drums already made by different manufacturers, and I take them and put snare parts on them, clean them up, get new rims and stuff, new heads, set the snares, do all the stuff to make it a fully functioning, cool sounding snare drum. And I call these my sugar beets. So I'm selling these sugar beets. This one here in particular is going for $420. Like I said, all brand new snare parts, rims, heads, and things like this. And of course the shell. And then, taking the time to turn it into a snare. You can see here, putting the little rivets in place. What are they? Getting the pure sound, like snare wires, so getting some high quality snares and taking care of all the things, the beds and everything like that to get it sounding like a snare. So this one, yes, going for $420. This is the third one I made, and I have a few more coming up, but this is the first one I'm putting out into market. So we're going to talk a little bit about the snare for a minute and see how it sounds. So first of all, I mean, it is a 12 by 8 inch rack tom like this. So you're going to get a lot of the similar tones because of that exact same size. Now you're going to get different woods and blah blah blah. The other reasons sound of a drum will change, but for the most part, very similar sound to that. So it does sound nice like that, almost like a bebop tension tom. I use it in place also with the timbali sort of here. Let me think, what else? Yes, of course, as a snare as well. It's a little bit deeper, so it's got a nice full crisp to it, like almost like a crunch when you hit the snare drum. I find it's best to play it with a large portion of the stick. So if you're doing a rim shot, instead of hitting farther back like this, like I was doing before for like the timbali stuff, you lay into it a little further here. You get a nice crispy crunch out of it, and you really catch that 8-inch depth right there. So something I like to do a lot when I'm playing big, loud, heavy stuff, it just carries the note a little further out of the snare drum, almost like putting an effect on it, which is incredible. So I have the snares pretty loose, inching them up a bit. You don't want to have that boxy sound, right? Or you want to avoid it for most things. Still ringing quite a bit. I don't know whether it is like the New Orleans, Stanton Moore, Lowell Whitty sound, I guess you'd call it, but much shorter sound on the inside here. Okay, so let's tighten it up and give it that boxy sound. The snare's really tight. Kind of cool industrial sort of sound, almost like a Danny Carey Tool thing. And then also as well, you can look at some different ways, where's my key, right here, to get some other sounds out of it. Bring everything down a full tension, see how that sounds. Okay, last two. This is a 6-lug snare, or a drum shell rather, snare now. This is a 5-lug, the old classic Gretsch. That's a pretty cool one. I found that at a pawn shop for pretty cheap. So, anyways, moving along. Ooh, still boxy, but I tuned it down. Let's get rid of that boxiness. Still kind of there. Let's keep going down. A nice fat sound out of it. We're going to go another half turn. I just want to highlight the dynamic sounds you can get out of a shell like this, because much like a 12 by 8 inch tom, you can get a whole bunch of different sounds: punchy, short, long, whatever. So. Them snares again. See what we can get out of it. Woo. Papery. Now you can start to talk about muting things as well. So getting a bit of fatness. Let's try to get rid of some resonance on the top, which is giving it a weird vibration. A little piece of tape maybe. Maybe mute it up with a wallet or something like that. Okay, I don't usually play mine that low, but you can do some other stuff. Drop the cymbal or the razor blade on it, Louis Cole style. You know what I mean? Oh shit, left hand. Enough about that. I mean, it's fairly versatile snare. Let's bring it back up to sort of the regular volume. I'm using it as an auxiliary snare, as I often do. So we're going 1.5 turns here. Yeah, and I will replace this with one of my other ones. I always keep one of these as the auxiliary because you can do so much with it. So I always like to have a second snare on the side, usually tuned the same as my main snare. And sometimes it's fun to have one of these for either that or a secondary snare sound. So let's go a little tighter here. Lost a lot of juice there. Let's tighten up the snares a little bit. At the bottom might need a little bit of tightening too. Can't forget about that one, so that might be affecting the sound. Let me give the bottom a little bit of a tighten too. Crank this up. It also sounds good with a variety of heads, different REMOs, clear heads, thick heads, thin heads. This is just an Evans G2 coated. It's a used head, so it's a little worn out. They got a little bit of that heavier sound, sort of. So sounds good with an ambassador, anything like that. So this is getting a little closer to where I keep it. And as always, I like to keep this kind of tight, so let's give it a little crank on the bottom. Okay. I always like a little bit of mute on mine. snare drum for grooves. Yeah, not bad. Usually keep it more muted than that, but that's cool. Cool, yeah, all right. Well, that just about wraps it up. Hopefully you like the Sugar Beat snare drums. Hopefully you want one. $420 for this guy, first one to market. I use beautiful vintage shells, sometimes rare shells you have here. This one's not going into a snare drum, but I do collect these shells. You know, this one you got the wrap coming off. Of course, I do these repairs, but yeah, we're talking about one of these Gretsch. What series is this? I don't even know. Whatever, this is an OG Gretsch. One of those 5 lugs, nice and heavy. Got the 2 throw-offs here, so it's a lot of fun. They sound beautiful. They sound similar every time. They have that rich, full body, that crunch that you can get, that 8-inch depth, but it's nice and short on the 12-inch. And yeah, certainly pick one of these up. Keep an eye out for more to go out to order. And if you have one that you would like custom built for you, certainly you can reach me about that as well. And we can discuss any sort of options that you're interested in going forward. So yeah, that's tight. Check them out. Have fun. Enjoy life.